Yo, what up, and welcome back to Pinoy News. So, my boy Iron Bastard was in Discord the other day and said that the federal government, either through incompetence or just sheer violence, wanted to try to kill Appalachians by shutting off the power during a cold stint that was unprecedented. He said the green energy policies, that they were shutting down plants and fucking things up and trying to kill us. And I said, Iron. I'm going to do some research and I'm going to look into it. So here's what I found. Freezing temps across the U.S. prompted utility companies, this is from Christmas Eve, to implement rolling blackouts and order customers to cut energy usage. So, the 2-unit Cumberland fossil plant in Middle Tennessee shut down because of weather-related equipment failures and overall coal-fired generation in the Tennessee region, tracked by the U.S. Energy Information Administration, fell by more than 68% from 4,482 megawatts early Friday to only 1,426 megawatts during the cold weather Saturday night. Energy Information Administration data showed net power generation by TVA fell by about 7,000 megawatts short of demand around Friday. TVA was generating about 23,000 megawatts and needed more than 30,000. Important to understand. So, let's talk about this. Let's talk about TVA and the assets that they have that actually generate electricity. They have 5 fossil plants, 3 nuclear plants, 29 hydro plants, 1 pump storage hydroelectric plant, 9 natural gas combustion turbine gas plants, 8 natural gas combined cycle gas plants, power blocks, 35 units, 21 gas, 1 diesel generators, and 14 solar energy sites. This breakdown, this is where it gets complicated because I want y'all to understand what the numbers are as far as stuff's concerned. All right. TVA's generation portfolio is 39% nuclear, 19% coal, 26% natural gas, 11% hydro, 3% wind and solar, and 1% energy efficient programs with a total capacity of 33,727 megawatts. Now, that's an important thing. That's 33,727 megawatts. All right. How much were they generating, did we say? 23,000. They were short 10,000 megawatts of power, right? And the reason for this is, again, they went down 3,000 just from, just on their coal-fired plant, right? Because their largest plant in Middle Tennessee actually just straight went offline. Their natural gas plants went offline completely, right? And they had no way to be able to make this up. Now, you would say, why is it that these plants were not ready? Well, here's the thing. Most of TVA's coal plants were built in the 1950s and 60s. And a lot of the new natural gas plants were built with the idea that things were going to be hotter, not colder. And they built at the lowest possible amount of money that they could. So they're not going to be insulated from major winter things. Tennessee doesn't get super cold. It might drop below freezing a little bit. But -10 is unheard of. So entire plants went completely the fuck offline. Now, on top of that, you have another problem. As all of us in the North know, when the cold comes, right, when winter comes, when bad things and bad weather comes, power's going to go out, right? They had entire grids knocked out in places like Knoxville and, Nashville. Not because of these plants, right? Because these plants, basically what they did was they started shutting down commercial areas, industrial areas, whatever they could, right? Long before they tried to shut down residential areas because they can know people live there. But the issue is that people are outside driving around in their vehicles, right? And when they drive around in their vehicles on ice in Tennessee, because of the fact that, y'all got those slam trucks and whatnot, right? And those ridiculous things that y'all drive, you slide on the ice, you hit telephone poles, which knocks out power. Now, I'm going to have guys come in my comment sections go, oh, the power's underground. No, most of it's not at this point. All right. That's literally a West Coast thing. On the East Coast, most of that shit's still hung in the motherfucking air. Right. And when you hit these things and you knock out power, you end up having branches fall, especially on like long distance, you know what I mean? Like the longer lines and stuff, the ones that like go over the mountains, the ones that go like across fields, all this type of things, right? When you have these things, you know what I mean, end up having branches fall on them. You end up having like the wind blow and they break and they get brittle and it gets cold and like water gets inside of like things and it condensates and then it freezes, then it expands and then it pops. This happens all the time. This is a normal occurrence on a regular basis. And your crews, you don't really have crews that are capable of turning the power back on in cold weather the way we do, right? Because like we're used to having 4 or 5 months where like it's below freezing and these type of things happen all the time, right? So were they trying to flat out kill Appalachians, right? No. Is the government incompetent? 100%. TVA is a government-run operation. It's completely incompetent, built by the lowest bidder, you know, all these type of things. Yes, of course, 100%. Right? But, and this is a big and important but as a whole. It's not done out of malice, and it's actually not even done out of some green energy stuff. Granted, like, yeah, those coal plants might have still been there, but they still wouldn't have operated because of the fact that they hadn't been updated. You know what I mean? Like, or they might have still been running, but they wouldn't have been updated. They wouldn't have had the ability to run anyway. These are the type of problems that we're running into. You know what I mean? Is the fact that like legitimately, you know, in Texas, the nuclear plant shut down. In Tennessee, it was the coal and natural gas plants that went out because they all require water to run. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, how do you make, you know, I mean, electricity with natural gas and steam or natural gas and coal? You use steam. You heat water because water, you know, I mean, is like a really powerful pressurizer. You know, like it is what it is. That's just how that operates. So understand something like, no, they weren't trying to kill Appalachians, but I am going to put that in the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's clickbaity. And you know how I do, man. I'm about them views, son. You know, I'm a whore. It's Tom Peace with Peter Goose. You know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe, our brothers. Peace.